Hello and welcome, Scrapperlock here. This is City of Heroes. We're with Dr. Cyclone, level 21, 20,000 XP, or about two-thirds of a level to go to get to level 22, and finally get single origin enhancers and hopefully another attack power. We're on the Psychochronometron final story arc where we have to go get the Psychochronometron, which is over there. And this is the thing that killed multiple times my D&D slash Deadlands friend who was new to video games and couldn't figure out how to get this to work. And I'm not sure what she was seeing, but she kept saying that she couldn't both move down and look down. I don't know. And so I was trying to have her come over here, I told her stay above the top of the war wall here, come all the way over here, right? And then look at this, right? Line up with it and then just fly straight over here because there is a gun over there that will shoot you. But if you're fast enough, you can just come in here, click on the door, and it'll take you inside, and then you can recover. See, it didn't even hit me, but she kept getting killed. And I felt really bad because I couldn't figure out how to help her. What I was describing to her to do, she said just wasn't working for her. So I don't know. She's playing on a laptop. I don't know if it's just because the keys are different on a laptop or what. So anyway, we are going after the Psychochronometron. Is that the right way to pronounce it, or is it the Psychochronometron? No, it's got to be the Psychochronometron. That makes the most sense. As we go, I do want to talk a little bit about wargaming, just very quickly. As you guys know, I've been looking into and trying to investigate games, and one of the things that has been very frustrating to me in the tactical wargame arena, this would be Advanced Squad Leader, The Last 100 Yards from GMT Games, Advanced Squad Leader from Multiman Publishing, formerly Avalon Hill, Old School Tactical from Flying Pig Games, Conflict of Heroes from that series from Academy Games, and Lock and Load Tactical from Lock and Load Publishing, among others. These are games that are unit, like squad-based combat. Panzer by GMT Games, which is more for tanks and trucks. I do have Panzer North Africa, and that series, the Panzer series, seems to be fully in print and available on GMT Games. But it's not really the regular squad level that I'm looking for, which is more infantry squads with some tanks rather than tank divisions with some infantry. What I really wanted was Advanced Squad Leader, but Advanced Squad Leader, a lot of parts of it are out of print. They're very expensive and so on, and it's also a very complicated game. And so what I have heard is that some of these other games are better. Conflict of Heroes is a fun game, but I found it to be very gamey. The pieces are like inch big counters, and they're very thick. As I get older, maybe I will prefer those as my eyesight gets worse, but to me it just feels more like just a non-war board game and less like a war game. Also, I find the game wildly fun to play, but also rather unrealistic. I want something with a little more realism. Now, of course, there was just a post not long ago by somebody who'd been playing Advanced Squad Leader for decades and said he finally can't deal with it anymore because of its quote-unquote unrealism. So I don't know, but a lot of these games look cool, and a lot of them have multiple components, if not all of it, in Lock and Load's case, literally out of print. And what I would like to do, if I find one that I like and I can get all the pieces I need to do it, you can do this in Advanced Squad Leader if all the pieces are available, which most of them aren't, many of them aren't, is play what in Squad Leader is called a campaign game. And a campaign game is where you play, you create a, I don't know, a regiment or a battalion or something of units on paper in a spreadsheet. And as you play through the scenarios, you carry forward the costs. If a squad is destroyed, then you're down those units and you're going to have to replace them, and there are rules in Advanced Squad Leader for how to do this, I believe, in one of the starter kits. I don't know when they came out for the regular game, but I got all 4 of the starter kits on pre-order. God only knows when I will get those. It will probably be 2027 or very late of this year. So 9-10 months, a year from now, if that. They've all been funded on their pre-order website, which is kind of like a Kickstarter, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But when they're going to be shipping out, printed, delivered, like who knows. So one of my frustrations has been that all these games you can buy one or two of the game, one or two of the packs, modules, what volume, whatever you want to call it, but you can't buy the rest of them. And I was really interested in Old School Tactical because what I'd heard is it's simple to play, it's easy to learn, and hard to master. That's usually a good game, right? One where you're not constantly in the rules, but it takes a while to figure out how to optimize it. I found that I felt that American Tank Ace was like that. It was pretty easy to learn, but I certainly haven't mastered it yet. I feel like the Traces of, was it Victory or whatever, Traces of War, which is part of the Traces of series by VUCA Simulations. I found that fairly easy to learn. By the third time I played it, I feel like I got the whole game down, but hard to master. I'm still not sure what the optimal decisions are to win for each side. I have had an easier time with the German side, and just that's because it's the defending side. But that's not a squad level. That's a battalion and division level game. So it sounded cool. A lot of people said it was a really good game, and it looked like a nice product by Flying Pig Games. And only the first and fourth of the 5 sets were available. The 5th set is, I don't know if it's out yet. They did a Kickstarter. It was funded. It's not clear to me whether if you didn't do the Kickstarter, if they had any extras that they made. Most of the time companies do. Pinnacle does that. So if you don't get the Kickstarter, after a few months, once everybody's got theirs, they'll unload the rest of them on their website. And so I suspect I could probably get Volume 5 because it just came out, or is about to come out. I'll probably be able to get that. But Volume 1 was available. That's the first one. But then Volumes 2 and 3 are not. So the way Old School Tactical does it is the first volume is 1940s, early 40s, 42, 43, Eastern Front, right? Everybody does Eastern Front. Apparently in World War II, that's the most popular one. Not actually the front that I'm the most interested in. I actually am really interested in the Pacific Theater of Operation. That's Volume 2 that was out of print. And then Volume 3 was post-Normandy Western Front with the U.S. and British forces against the Germans. That's my second favorite. And then Volume 4 is Italy. More interesting to me than the Eastern Front, but not as interesting as the other two. And then Volume 5 is early 40s overrunning of France and Belgium and stuff. And so if you have all of these sets, you could basically play out the whole war. Now, I don't know how easy it will be to run a campaign game with it. Maybe, maybe not. But I could easily see playing them scenarios in chronological order if I had most of or all of the sets. And I would, if I liked the game, I would kind of like to be able to do that, but these 2 sets were out of print. So just today, Flying Pig Games announced that they are kickstarting both Volume 2 and Volume 3 as like a dual set where you get the whole thing, both of them, plus some expansion modules that are for those to include other scenarios and stuff. And so I don't know what it's going to cost because the Kickstarter isn't going live until a week or 2 from now. But I said, that's 2 of the 4. Are 1 and 4 still available on their website? Well, it turns out that they are. So I said, okay, maybe now is the time to get into this. I have the time, I think, if I order it now, which I did. I ordered the first volume today, and we're going to see if I like it. And if I get it before the end of the Kickstarter and I like it, I will get in on the Kickstarter and get the other 2. That's not really why I'm telling you this story. I complain a lot about companies that do things I don't like. When a company does something that I think is pretty cool, I definitely want to mention it. I went to the Flying Pig website, I made an account, I ordered the game plus some they have these like neoprene sheets for borders. Old School Tactical does something a little different. Most of the tactics games, the way they work is they have 4 or 5 or 6 different map boards, and you mix and match them, and you angle them, spin them around and stuff to get a variety of playing surfaces. What OST does instead is it has a large map, basically the size of your dining room table, but then you mark off little regions of it as the play area. And they have little counters you can use to do this, but they have these little basically color forms that you can stick around it. And I love this idea because I have a plexiglass thing that I put over the maps now anyway, and I can just put it on the plexiglass and then maybe even shift the map under it to to be the play area, although I don't know how variable those are. So I ordered those. Those are ridiculously expensive. 25 bucks for 4 of them. $6 each is over the top, but if I play this game in all the different volumes, I'll be able to use those for everything. So I said, what the heck, I'll get them. So so I ordered it, and that's normal enough. Okay, they sent me an email. You've made this order. We'll let you know when it's ready. PayPal, which I use, sent me an email. You've paid this amount. About 10 minutes later, I know it's automated, but about 10 minutes later, I got this message from them, a little email with some graphics and a smiley face or whatever. Thank you for being a Flying Pig customer. We appreciate your patronage. If you have any questions, you can email us here. We'll be happy to help you. Now, I got to tell you, I have made online orders from like several dozen companies over the years. I don't know if I've ever gotten a thank you note like that. I get, you've ordered this, we'll let you know when it's ready, like the receipt, right? And I've gotten updates, your order is ready to ship, your order has been shipped, your order is out for delivery. But just to get an extra email from them, thank you for being a customer, we appreciate your business. I don't know that I've hardly ever seen that. If ever. I can't remember the last time I saw an extra email come in from them. I saw the extra email come in 10 minutes later, and I thought, well, that's weird. I assumed they were going to say, we filled your order, or something like that, which is usually the next one you get. Your order's waiting to be filled, something like that. Like, that's pretty quick. It's 8 o'clock at night. Well, maybe they're on the Pacific Coast, and it's 5 p.m., and somebody's working, and they actually filled it already. If it's a small company, I guess that's possible. But no, it wasn't that at all. It was just, we appreciate your business. Thank you for purchasing something from us, and let us know if we can help in any way. I'm like, that's pretty nice. It was probably the work of 10 minutes for somebody on staff to compose that email, and it gets sent to everyone who orders. I know it wasn't a personal note, but I just like the fact that they had the politeness, if you want to call it that, the appreciation for their business to actually compose this. I feel like this is a lost art in businesses, that actually being grateful to the customer for being a customer and showing appreciation to the customer, which is something that many businesses, if not most businesses, did when I was growing up as a kid. Now they act like they're doing you a favor to let you buy something from them, a lot of companies. And it was really refreshing to get this. And so, look, I don't know anything about this game. I have no idea what the quality of the components are, although I'm not, I don't do things blindly. I have watched videos. In fact, somebody comparing OST to, gosh, I can't remember which other game. I can't remember if it was Company of Heroes or The Last 100 Yards or one of the competitors, Lock and Load. And he was comparing like the size of the hexes, the size of the counters, the quality of the build of the materials. And both games seem to have, whichever two games, I can't remember who he was comparing them with, both of them were quality. Honestly, I haven't seen any low quality stuff in any of the stuff I've bought. It's all been at least acceptable to extremely high. I feel like the Conflict of Heroes stuff, although it's very gamey, is very high quality, and unquestionably so, right? The artwork is very nice, the quality, the thickness of the counters, the quality of the build, the quality of the maps, the attractiveness of the maps, of the map boards and stuff, the quality of the components and game pieces is all very high. That's been true of the GMT games. It's been true. The Compass games are maybe not quite as high as the other two, but that like they're normal quality, like the same kind of quality you used to get from Avalon Hill, which was a good game company. And then I feel like these other companies are kicking it up a little bit of a notch, particularly Conflict of Heroes, very high quality stuff. The OST, Old School Tactical, looks similar, and my understanding is it's also very high in quality. But I can't really speak to it directly since I have not I've not received it yet. I have no idea how well written the rules are. For instance, I can say that of the rule books I've read, the one from American Tank Ace is probably the most poorly written set of rules of the games, the 3 or 4 games that I've read the rules of recently. And then we could include NATO and Second Fleet and some of the others. Yeah, that one really leaves a lot to be desired. It's playable, it's decipherable if you really work at it, but it leaves some to be desired. But it's still like the components are all high quality. It's a decent game. I've had a lot of fun playing it. I've played it over the I've played it over the last couple months 3 or 4 times. Never been able to survive it, but I've gotten what you would call a come on a modest victory on it, which is to survive long enough to defeat a certain number of missions, right? So I can't really speak to the quality, but in terms of just the impression I get as a new customer from them, and the fact that they seem to be very excited to make games and make good games, and they're excited when people buy their games and play them. And that's the impression I get. Um, so, I mean, I don't really know because I have no other experience other than one day of experience with them. But I do want to give them a shout out since, after all, I don't think I've gotten that kind of a thank you note from any sort of a game company in a very, very long time, if ever. Um, so, kudos to them. And it makes me want to consider other games by them, assuming I like the first one. If I like Volume 1, I'll probably buy 4 and pre-order 2 and 3. And if I get my hands on 5, if I like 1, I may get that too. And one of the things I've been trying to figure out is, by sampling different tactical systems, which one do I want to commit to? And I had sort of decided, I guess I'll commit to Advanced Squad Leader. I was able to pre-order all 4 of their starter sets, and I'll just do that. And then if I want to get into the regular game, I can. And I don't regret pre-ordering the starter sets. It's fine. I've always been interested in Advanced Squad Leader, and I definitely want to try it. But old school tactical versus the full Advanced Squad Leader is dramatically less complicated and cheaper. And so, yeah, I guess I didn't mean to make this long, but I do appreciate the fact that these guys have sent me that little thank you note, and they seem to appreciate my business, and they seem to genuinely like being a game company and developing games, which is something that you would imagine most people working in game companies would do, but it seems like that kind of thing is getting rarer and rarer these days, and especially in like certain role-play game companies that will remain nameless. But you can imagine which ones I'm talking about. Yeah, I don't know. It seems to me like, what is wrong with this thing? Why am I not able to actually get this to trigger? Oh, I ran out of endurance. I forgot I was having endurance problems with this character. So, yeah, talking too much, not paying attention. So, yeah, I don't know. It seems like back in the day there was a lot of people who did this kind of thing, right? The game creators and stuff. They were they were they were people who were in it for the enjoyment of the hobby. They were people who had been hobbyists before they became game designers. They loved what they were doing, right? Maybe like Gary Gygax and Dave Arneson and Monty Cook and these guys. They loved what they were doing. Same thing with the people creating the Avalon Hill and SBI games and stuff. They loved what they were doing. Yes, they wanted to get paid. Yes, it was a job. But they also loved these games, and they were part of the fandom as well as the creators. And they seemed to really take pleasure in what they were doing. And now it seems like some of these designers really don't. And it's almost like they're angry at their own fans. They don't appreciate them, that kind of thing. And it's nice to see a company that still seems to take pleasure in the product that it makes and enjoy it, and appreciate their customers, which too many companies don't seem to do anymore. And they seem to have forgotten that without customers, you have no business. You have to have customers. You would think that any business would know that. But some of them seem to have forgotten it. Seems to me. We know from the OGL scandal that Wizards of the Coast has forgotten it. And I'm not sure they remember it now, although there are stories about how they seem to be trying to want to get the old school players, the original players, the grognards, as you might call us, back again. I think they're starting to realize what I said many years ago when we were talking about this, that the new audience is an unproven one, right? You don't know whether the people who are interested in your game because of Stranger Things this year are going to stick around long term to be long-term customers who are going to make a lot of purchases in the future. And you do know that the people who've been playing D&D since 1980 or 1985 or something and are still playing it today are the sorts of people who are going to stick around and continue buying product from you. And where's this other guy? Didn't I see another guy yet? And so I've never said that you don't need to try and get new customers, but getting them at the expense of your existing ones is not something that strikes me as liable to be successful. I don't know if we can pull these guys. Historically, I have been able to do that. He's not that close. We might be able to pull. Let's see. Yeah, we'll just try to get him over here, break line of sight. One of the things I think that worked really well about City of Heroes is that it was a labor of love. The people who were doing it weren't doing it to become rich. They wanted a job, of course, and they want to make a living. But most of the devs of COH played COH and other MMOs. If you think about it, Jack Emmert, right? Why did he create the auction house? Because he fell in love with the auction house in World of Warcraft. Okay, well, that means he was playing World of Warcraft. The guy played MMOs, right? He was an MMO dev who, in his free time for fun, played MMOs. He liked MMOs, right? That's why he made this game. Say what you want about him. He liked MMOs. That's why he played the game. And it made him a better developer because he actually liked the thing he was doing. Yes, if you like what you're doing, it's going to make you better at what you're doing. By the way, I try to tell students this, right? There are so many students, and this is, oh, we're getting slowed. There are so many students, and this is true just across the country among bio majors. There are so many students who do not really like biology. They're in it for what they think they can get out of biology. And we're going to probably die because of the slow. Is it Sans who's slowing me, or is it somebody else? I think it's Sans. In which case, I'm going to have to just keep going after him. So, in terms of soloing, because we talked about this last time, yeah, these guys are way harder with this character. I'm going to try to get away from the melee. They're way harder with this character than they were with any Stalker or Scrapper or Brute that I've ever played. I've done this encounter many times. This is the most difficult and annoying one. Because this guy just has no recourse when he's getting dogpiled, really. And I'm going to die. Right? I don't think I've ever died to Sans, but I will this time, I think. Well, got him. I came that close, guys. It was much lower than that. We almost died, but we got out of it. Okay. Well, we made it, but it was certainly much harder to do than with a stalker. And now we have the Ouroboros icon. You gonna let me move? There's a gun over there, game. Don't just lock me in over there. We'll move that up there. Now we can go to Ouroboros whenever we want. And we're about 2/3 of the way to level 22, so SOs are coming very soon. Hey, I didn't even think about it. Do I have enough money for them? Not that it matters. I could trade some down, but... 1 million. Yeah, we should be good. It takes about 1 million too. 900,000 to get the enhancements you need at this level. All right, so that's that one, but it's not the end of the arc because we have to do the finale, and we're definitely going to need some inspirations for that. This is so tough because I normally, for something like this, would not want to bring endurance, but I have to with this character because we're just dying on endurance. So we need like triple lux to avoid the damage. Couple heals. I want to do some extra damage and have some extra to hit too, but I don't know if we just don't have enough tray space. Yeah, that's all fine. How are we doing on salvage? We've got 141 reward merits, not too bad. Oh, we can get some more, whoops. Get some more influence by dropping this. These guys are worth 1.5 mil. Now, I thought they were worth less than that. Oh, put it up for 800,000. And we sold it for 1.5. That's great. So now we have tons of influence, and then these guys are worth 50, so we'll sell for 40. And that should sell right away. 50,001. There we go. So now we have plenty of influence for our SOs. We're going to be very close. We'll probably get a couple more beads because of finishing the story arc. We're going to be very close on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the mission. We're going to finish it up. And then when we have got the completion on it, then I will see if I can deal with Sans and Nocturne and these other guys who are all fighting each other. All right, so we're going to come up here. We're going to go over to Penelope and... right there. We're going to rescue her. And then once she's rescued and we've got the mission complete, then we can try to go after the AVs. I don't know if they'll still be... they do a lot of damage to each other. So I don't know that we're going to be able to do much to them, but we can try. Let's go ahead and put them in a thunderstorm. I'm going to go after this thing. That gets rid of the shield. Who's taken the most damage so far? Castillo. So we'll go after him first. Whoa! What is going on with the graphics there? I guess I'll fight these guys and let them fight each other. That's fine. Both lieutenants. I don't know where they went, the other guys. Oh, there they are. Let's hover. Well, one of them died, I think. And what do we got? Nocturne. Is she the only one left? I'm not going to let you melee me, honey. Didn't even really need the inspirations for this. We'll get some good XP for her, I think, but we won't get full. I don't think we'll get full XP because we didn't do all the damage to her. So the way this usually works is you only get XP for the percentage of XP of the damage you did. So just to make it easy, let's say she has 1,000 hit points and she's worth 500 XP. If we did 500 hit points to her, 50%, we'd get 50% of the XP, or get 250 XP, something like that. I don't know if it's exactly 1-to-1 like that, but it's close. Oh, you're deflecting me, huh? Grab some endo. Got her. Nobody else around? Yeah, she was worth 1,000 XP. Oh wow, we got a whole bunch of stuff. Did I somehow get credit for killing all of them because I hit them all a little bit? I guess maybe I did. We got a whole bunch of stuff here, guys. These are all SOs, right? So we actually now have some SOs we could put on our powers. Look at that. Damage SO. We got Endurance SO. We got Accuracy SO. Check that out. And a Recharge SO, right? Excellent. So I'm going to hold these until we level up, and then I'll lock them in and upgrade them. I think that'll be cheaper than buying them fresh. No, we can't go in this way. We have to actually talk to the guy. Alright, so we've completed this story arc. I keep going the wrong way. Okay. Let's talk to Agent G. And we have leveled up, guys. We have leveled up. We are not going to go to Mirror Spirit as much as I like her, because it's a long trip. We're going to head to Ouroboros. We're not talking to anybody there because I don't want a story arc. I just want to use this to transition to Talos Island, where we will level up and then go to the SO shop, which is nearby. Next level. Ooh, Cloudburst. Okay, what is this one? This is a click. Target type enemies. What is this actually doing? Causing cold damage while storm cell targets. While in a storm cell, targets experience recharge to hit and movement speed debuffs. But what are we actually doing here? Okay, that's some pretty good damage. Actually, more damage than Chain Lightning. But Chain Lightning causes things to jump. I really like Lightning. Gosh, guys, which one? Let's see. 15 endurance, 11 endurance. Oh, this is a lot of endurance. This is single target. This is single target. I feel like this one might be more efficient. More damage. So what's the DPE? It does 76 damage. Oh, it's a dot. And there's a 50% chance of a lightning. I don't know. This is a single shot, right? 33 damage and then opportunity hit for more. This is 10 ticks of 7.69, which is the 76. Whereas this, the 47, comes from this thing. Not sure what the opportunity does. Is that from Storm Cell? Might be. Oh, that's an endurance drain over time. We don't really care about that. I feel like because this is on the shorter recharge, this is going to be the better play right now. We'll do it that way. And now, since we already have this single origin accuracy, we can slap it right on there. And we already had a single recharge. We can slap it right on there. And this, we can make this level 25. Excellent. And then we can rip this out and put this on there. And so that gets us started. And I'm going to go ahead and buy some SOs. And when I bring you back, you'll see how we're enhanced. And we'll try one quick mission, enhanced, and then we will stop for tonight. Alright guys, we are back just to show you. I've done this before, but over here, Exarch Industries, this is the tech shop. We've got our SOs. Here we go. Whoops, no, that is the wrong thing. I want to show you this. Alright, so everything's got single origin enhancers on it. Oh, I do want to upgrade the level 24s to level 25. So everything is now level 25, and we have triple SO'd our health and stamina, so that's good. We've got SOs on fly and hover. I wouldn't normally do that. Years ago, when you barely were making ends meet, you wouldn't bother to do this at level 22, but we have 2.5 million still left over, so we're good. And we have sugar daddies and sugar mommies to fund our character as much as we want. So we've got our health, run speed, swift, hurdle, and all that. Jump, etc. On the defensive side, we've got endurance reducers on all three of our toggles, which reduces them to 0.19 or 0.15 per second, depending on the toggle. These guys are 0.19, right? Where is it? Yeah, at the bottom there. And these guys are also 0.19. We have our energize recharging in 45 seconds. Every 45 seconds, we will get a little burst of 138% of the health that we're going to get from that, and eventually this will have 2 more heal SOs on it. Over here we have a couple damages. We have everything accuracy'd. We have endurance reducers and recharge on the things that we have slots on. My guess is level 23. I'll probably finish this up, put our resistance on here, and then we'll add, I think we're going to add, how much does this cost to throw? It's only 5 endurance. I think we don't need to recharge it. We probably add endurance on this guy, because this guy costs a lot of endurance. So we're going to add endurance and then recharge on him, kind of the same order as these guys, because we are having endurance problems. So I want to try Cloud Burst. I want you to see how this guy handles, and I want to see how this guy handles fully SO'd. I want to point out our resistances are pretty solid. We're in nearly 50% in smashing and lethal, 45% in fire and cold. And guys, energy, but not negative energy, is at 75%, and that's blue because we are at the quote-unquote resistance cap. So I don't know if they've changed this, but in the past, what this means is I have more than 75% resistance total, but it gets lopped off at 75. So if you add up the actual resistances, it would come up to 79 or something, but it locks it at 75. That's the most you can have. However, unless they've changed it, and leave me a comment and explain to us how it works now if they have. My understanding, and defense used to work the same way, is if your numbers put you over the cap, you're stopped at the cap. But if you get a debuff, if somebody puts like a minus 10 resistance on me, it doesn't go minus 10 from 75, it goes minus 10 from my total, which say it's 80, would drop me to 70 and then compared to the cap. Right? So if I had 100 resistance, a minus 10 debuff would drop me to 90, and then they would cap it at 75. Right? And so it's not a waste, or it didn't used to be a waste, to go over the cap, because if there's a debuff, and there often is, the debuff won't bring you below the cap if you're above it enough. I used to do that with defense all the time. Right? That's what the inspirations are for. Right? I might have a character that's already almost at the cap, they call it the soft cap, for defense, 75%, and you're like, why are you swallowing purple pills? Because if somebody's debuffing me, bringing me below that 75, I can bring it back up, right? So that's kind of the way that works, or at least the way it used to work. So if it's not anymore, somebody please let me know. We're level 22 now. We have these guys are not the right guys, but this one is Independence Port. So we're going to go to Independence Port and we will do that contact. Ooh, little transport. So yeah, I'm really happy we have our SOs now. I'm perfectly fine with DOs until about 20th level, and then level 20 and 21 can be a little painful. And they were with this character, even more so, I think, than my typical scrappers and stalkers and stuff, just because I'm not as used to the ranged playstyle. As you can see, I don't do a lot of kiting or hovering over things, and with this character, you really can't do too much hovering because it negates the knockback defense, which you have to be quote-unquote grounded for. Steel Canyon, we want Independence Port. Okay, he's at this. Okay, well, he's not at the south. We'll just fly to him. Yeah, so we should be flying a little bit faster. We've got fly speed on this thing, on this character. And I had talked at one point about maybe putting a couple of slots on flight to get him to fly faster, but I don't think we can afford that on this character because we have to have defenses and attacks all multi-slotted, right? Even here, which is our Mez defense, it also is a resistance. So we're going to need to triple slot that too. This guy's going to have to be 4 slotted. These guys have to be 4 slotted, 6 slotted here. And I don't even want to think about the other defense powers that we don't have yet because they're going to all need slots too, I'm sure. Without even looking, I don't have to look at them. They're all going to need slots. Okay, so we're going after the Tsu. That's fine. Talus Island, so we'll head over. So yeah, let's see how this guy does. We've fought the Tsu with him before. They're significantly less annoying to this character because of the knockdown it can do. And Storm Cell, we definitely want to buff that. I just haven't been able to, because it doesn't cost that much endurance and it recharges fast. It just hasn't been the squeaky wheel to get slots over these other powers that recharge really slowly and are sucking my endurance down like a vacuum cleaner sucking down dust. Is that a good analogy? I don't know. Okay. I do feel like I feel like when I enhance super jump, I notice the height but not the speed. It is faster. But with flight, I do notice the speed right away when you have it enhanced versus not enhanced. It's a 33% increase in speed. You wouldn't think it'd be that noticeable. You go from going 40 miles an hour to like 48 miles an hour, but or maybe more like 52 miles an hour. But no, 40 would be about 53 miles an hour. But yeah, it is noticeable. At least to me. I always detested flight. Super speed irritated me because you couldn't go up, but at least you were moving fast. Teleport, I never liked, and I've done it on very few characters. But between like the main ones I usually use are super jump or flight. I use flight a lot because it's appropriate for the character, but I always hated it, and it's always frustrated me as a power because, like, one of my favorite superpowers in all of comic books and superpower theme is flight. I love flight. Let's see how this cloudburst works. Nice! Oh, that is very nice. It's like a deluge of ice. Cool. So we should now be getting very close. Let's take a watch. Look at that. Look at that damage over time. That is a nice damage over time. We're definitely going to want to enhance that. Double the damage. Endurance held up okay during that fight. We should be seeing this character becoming instantly, dramatically more effective. Look at that. Knocked them all over. That's awesome. I should probably open with that AoE more. Have you guys been yelling at the screen for me to do that? Just keep in mind, I'm not used to this power set. I'm still figuring it out. It's not like the Dark Stalker where I had played Stalkers and Dark Brute before, so I knew how Dark worked, I knew how Stalkers work, and it's all just like on autopilot for me. This is not autopilot. Yeah, I should open with that more and knock everybody down. And you're going to take a damage over time, and I'm going to just go after the other guy. We're getting close to a closed attack chain already, which I like. And I think that when we get a recharge on the Cloudburst, we'll be pretty close to it. Let's see. Yeah, because everybody else has a recharge on them. So recharge on that Cloudburst, we'll be very close to a closed attack chain. I think one more power would do it. There is a part of me that still wants to get Gust. It's sort of low-hanging fruit. You know, it's not going to be a great power because it's a minor damage, but it won't use a lot of endurance and it'll recharge quickly. And if you enhance it, it'll be a good gap filler for when when none of your other powers are up, which I did a lot of that with my Stalker, right? Where she had whatever the weak power was, name escapes me, and I was doing that a lot. Get away from me, you guys. Come on. I hate when they pile up on you like that and I can't see. Like, I don't care about the melee attacks so much, although I probably should be trying to avoid those. It's just being able to see what the bleep is going on. That was a nice little crit there. And there we go. Took care of those guys. I have to say, special effects wise, this is one of my favorite power sets in the entire game. I think for a ranged set, this might be my favorite. I love the sound effects. I love the visuals. It looks so good. I don't know when they put this in the game. I don't know, was this in the game during live? Or is this something that was added by the Homecoming devs? I don't know, but whoever designed the visuals and the sounds for this set deserves some kind of an award for game special effect design or something. You know how they give you awards for like best major effects in a movie or something, best visual effects and stuff. Yeah, well, this thing deserves some kind of an award because it's awesome. I knew there was going to be a boss over there. Well, I've got some of these, so we're going to have some fun with you now. Boop. And now you're going to get the dot. Let's take it. Give it to him. And knock him over. And lightning bolt him. Now we're doing some damage, right? We already got him down to like 2/3 of his hit points. This damage over time is going to be nice. If it does throw in the extra lightning bolt with Storm Cell, with my own lightning, when I get chain lightning going, man, these guys are going to be getting hit by lightning over and over again. Cool effects. Look at this stuff. Oh, man, just when they're hit by 2 or 3 effects, you got the storm going, you got like the rain, you got the hailstones come down, and the lightning hits them at the same time. That is awesome. Yeah, again, I totally, like, whoever designed this power set, the effects for this power set deserves some kind of an award or trophy or something, because it's good. Like, these effects are amazing. I mean, look at this. Right? You got the occasional lightning coming out of the storm. You've got me generating various different storm effects. It really looks like some kind of a really nasty winter lightning thunderstorm, hailstorm all at once is hitting the area. It sounds cool. It looks awesome. I'm probably harping on it too much, but it's just cool. I like cool stuff. I love the effects in this game. And when you have effects that are so good, and then on top of that, this one's good even for this game. And when I think about how old this game is and how even if it's this fairly new power set that was designed by a more modern developer who has 20 years of experience on the developers of City of Heroes from the original, right, the live game. Um, they're still working on an engine that was designed in 2002-3 and launched in '04. That engine has not been updated in almost 25 years, and they still are doing this. I don't even know how it was possible in 2004. And I think on the one hand, that's pretty awesome. On the other hand, I think it's pretty pathetic that this game is better than games that are 20 years more modern. Like, can't these developers learn from the COH devs and build something at least as good? There are lots of games that are cool, but some of them are just, it's like, how are you guys not doing better than COH when COH was designed on late 1990s, early 2000s PCs? Like, what were they, Pentium 1s? Pentium 2s? Good lord. Do we get any enhancements? Nope. Okay. So we're going to Alice Park. We'll do this, and then we will stop, guys. I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you're enjoying our character. As you saw, like, the endurance is way less of a problem now. Part of that is the single origin endurance reducers. Yes. But part of it is that much maligned choice, well, slightly maligned choice of mine. One or two viewers have asked me, why are you doing this? You don't need it. Of putting triple SOs on stamina. This is why I will always do it. Because once that's there and you have your endurance reducers at level 22, your endurance problems are not gone, but they're dramatically reduced. So, and hopefully you could see that right away in this first mission. By the way, I do want to mention before we stop, let's go ahead and click this. I do want to mention before we stop that I have started, once again, restarted playing a game that I actually started a couple years ago. So this is like, I've always liked EVE Online. I'm not playing EVE. I liked EVE Online. I really like the idea of it. I don't like open PvP. I wish EVE had like some private servers where there wasn't any PvP. I think they probably can't do that because if they ever tried it, those servers would probably get swarmed and the PvP servers would become deserts, because that's what happens in most games. I know everybody always talks about PvP and everything, and maybe there are some MMOs where this isn't true, but it certainly happened in COH. It certainly happened in Knights of the Old Republic, or the Old Republic. It certainly happened in Star Wars Galaxies. It certainly happened in every other game that I've ever played that had PvP servers. The PvP servers have a population that's a tenth the size of the PvE servers, because 90% of gamers don't want to be ganked. They don't want to have to deal with PvP. They don't want to deal with other rude players and stuff. They just want to go experience the cool outer space planets or the superheroes or whatever and have fun, like I'm doing here. I don't want to deal with people shooting me in the back because they're villains and they're trying to laugh in my face, or I just want to play the game, right? I don't want to deal with you guys. So, not you, but the PvPers. So I don't know, but EVE, as awesome as it is, and by the way, I felt it was a really awesome game. I loved it. Loved it. Loved the space controls. It's the only game I've ever played in outer space type game where the mouse and keyboard was actually usable for me. Otherwise, I always have to use some kind of a joystick or a controller. But in EVE, I didn't need that. I was able to use the mouse. I thought it was great. I love the system of basically you just skill up over time, so you don't have to worry about grinding skills, and you also can't grind them, and so you just gain like one skill point a month or something, as long as you're logged in or as long as you have subscribed to it, right? I actually kind of like that, so that people who were like playing hundreds of hours a week or a month, right, versus people who play 10 hours a week, they're not going to get more XP. They'll probably be better at the game, but they're not going to get more XP. Loved the game. Hated the PvP. Hated that it was open PvP. Never liked dealing with it. Didn't like the fact that you could stay in safe zones, but you can't really succeed at making money and leveling up your ship and stuff, because all the best resources are out in the PvP zones, and you have to fight for them and stuff, which, that's the premise of the game. Didn't love it. There's another game that's outer space based called what is it? Elite Dangerous. That one apparently the PvP is sort of opt in, opt out. Again, I've never tried it. Don't really want to pay a subscription to an MMO, that kind of thing. But there is another game that's like these two that is a private play on your computer game, but vast MMO style game that you play by yourself. I don't think there's a multiplayer. Called X4, and I guess it's the sequels to X3, X2, and X1. Didn't play the other games, but I have gotten X4. I got some of the DLC on discount. I played it for about 6 hours a couple years ago, and I got really frustrated with it. I struggled with it. I think the problem is I wasn't putting enough time into it. So I re-downloaded it and I started playing it again. And I'm just doing the tutorials right now. And I can see why I got frustrated because some of the tutorials are buggy and confusing and they don't tell you what they need to tell you. And I've been able to muddle through because I remember a little bit of what I did before. But after I do the tutorials, I'm just going to start the campaign and play around with it. If you guys are interested in seeing that, let me know. I'm not guaranteeing I'm going to actually post anything about it. But if I feel like I'm not so incompetent that, I mean, I understand you guys might want to watch me be incompetent and just log in to laugh at me for an episode or two. But if I find I can rant while playing that game or something, it might be worth trying. If you guys are interested, let me know. But we're going to keep doing COH, of course. This would be an addition. So anyway, let me know if you're interested in that game, and I'll see whether I feel like I can make watchable videos with it. Don't know. Otherwise, we'll keep doing COH regardless. And until next time, I am Scrapperlock, and this is City of Heroes.